Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I'm the Smithy D, and today we're going to be looking at the Lord of Hunger himself, Darth Nihilus. To start things off, we're going to compare the difference between a 3-star Darth Nihilus to a 7-star Darth Nihilus. My 3-star Gear 11 Darth Nihilus has 17,121 health. However, I am missing an MK5 AKT stun gun, which would then boost it with an extra 600 health, taking the grand total of a fully maxed 3-star Darth Nihilus to 17,721. A 7-star maxed gear Darth Nihilus has 24,399 health, so the difference between a 3-star maxed gear and a 7-star maxed gear is 6,678 health. The protection, speed, potency, tenacity and health steal amounts on a 3-star max gear Darth Nihilus are identical to a 7-star maxed gear Darth Nihilus. On this character, there is a very small difference between a 3-star to a 7-star. His ability set would even make him arena viable at 1-star. So we've gone over the comparison, now let's move on to his abilities. His basic attack is called Ceaseless Craving. This deals special damage to the target enemy and dispels all buffs on them. If any buffs were dispelled, it reduces the cooldown of Drain Force by 1. So what this means, the cooldown of Drain Force is reduced by 1 per dispelled enemy, not per dispelled effect. Currently, this character is the only Sith character within this game that can dispel any positive effects. The only positive effect that's going to stop Darth Nihilus from dispelling would be Foresight. His first special attack is called Drain Force. This has a 3-turn cooldown. This ability deals special damage to all enemies with a 50% chance. This is doubled against debuffed enemies to 100% to increase their cooldowns by 1. For each cooldown increased, this reduces the cooldown of Annihilate by 1. The description for this ability is slightly incorrect. Annihilate's cooldown is decreased by a maximum of 1 per character that is affected by this ability, not per ability that's affected. For an example, if Darth Nihilus increased the cooldowns of 5 characters, Annihilate's cooldown would be reduced by 5. The characters that are affected by Drain Force do not need to be on any ability cooldowns for this ability to take effect, making this ability an unofficial ability block. This ability can still be dodged and cannot apply through Foresight. However, this ability will still have a 50% chance to apply through the Tenacity Up positive effect. This may not be working as intended, so please bear that in mind. His second special ability is called Annihilate. This has a 8-turn cooldown. Instantly defeat the targeted enemy. Nihilus gains max health equal to the target's max health. The defeated target cannot be revived, this ability cannot be evaded, and starts on an 8-turn cooldown. For what this means, for every defeated character by this ability, Nihilus will gain their max health. This is not a healing ability, but instead provides Nihilus with additional total health. Remember, you will need to use Drain Force to help reduce those cooldowns on Annihilate. Darth Nihilus comes equipped with a leader ability called Lord of Hunger. Sith allies gain 60% offense and 150% health steal when zated. Sith allies lose all protection and gain that much max health. Sith allies are immune to healing effects that are not health steal and cannot score critical hits. For the purposes of this video, the leadership Lord of Hunger is not zated and it is 100% health steal, not 150%. So how this leadership works for your Sith characters, for the damaged out, they receive this number back as a healing amount. Most characters have a built-in health steal. For example, Darth Nihilus already has a 10% health steal on his character, taking the total of this leadership, including Darth Nihilus, non-zated to 110%. If he was zated, then this would be a 160% health steal. Darth Maul already has a built-in 20% health steal on his character, so under this leadership, non-zated, that's going to be taking him to 120% health steal for every attack he deals. Health steal is a healing mechanic but can only be triggered by the damaged out. This does not increase your character's max health. This leader ability makes your Sith characters immune to any other healing effects that is not health steal. This includes healing uniques on characters like Darth Sidious, Darth Maul, and a Zeta Count Dooku. The Zeta protection regain on Count Dooku should not work under a Darth Nihilus leadership, as 1, there is no protection to regain under this leadership, and 2, the protection regain is a healing effect. With regards to Galactic War, please be aware that once you make Darth Nihilus your leader for your Sith characters, you will not regain any protection if you later change leaders. The protection will only come back once you reset your Galactic War. In my opinion, I don't feel this is a top tier leadership. This leadership could work depending on your arena shard, depending who you are facing, but there are a lot of issues, and in my opinion, the far from a full Sith squad, the better the hybrid, the better this leadership will work. Darth Maul and Emperor Palpatine work really well under this leadership. There are still a lot of issues with this leadership. I don't feel that we currently have the characters that would benefit this leadership so much as now, and I believe that we would need more released characters with the Sith faction that directly benefit this leadership. Because this leadership provides your Sith characters with high health, negative effects such as expose, deathmark, and damage over time is really going to cause a lot of damage to any Sith under this leadership. Health steal can be affected by a fence down. This negative effect is going to reduce the damage output of your Sith characters, which will then cause a less health steal. If that wasn't enough, shock and healing immunity negative effects will block health steal, resulting in no heal whatsoever. Under this leadership, your Sith characters cannot critically hit the enemy. It has no turn meter gain or no turn meter reduction. Currently, the less Sith you have under this leadership, the better this leadership overall will perform. This leadership is a direct counter to any team that gains effects from critical hits. However, currently, I don't feel this has any place among a Darth Vader Zeta or even a Darth Maul Zeta. Darth Nihilus' unique is called Wound in the Force. At the start of his turns, Nihilus inflicts damage over time for 2 turns on a random enemy that does not have any debuffs. If all enemies are debuffed, inflict damage over time on a random enemy. Once this unique has been Zeta'd, as shown visually on screen at the start of each enemy turn, Nihilus inflicts health down on them for 2 turns. Health down is a negative effect that reduces max health by 20%. This negative effect will also be good for when facing a Nihilus leadership. This Zeta unique in my opinion is worth the Zeta, as this alone makes Darth Nihilus viable in any squad, as he can create his own negative effects which will support his Drain Force. So we've gone over the comparison, we've gone over his abilities, now let's have a look at the character viability. This character is very universal and can fit into any team within this game. However, there are certain teams that he would significantly do more for. These teams would be a Zeta Darth Vader and a Zeta Darth Maul. In my honest opinion, I do feel that he does go best with a Darth Maul Zeta leadership because of that opening 20% turn meter, which effectively is going to allow your Darth Nihilus to go quicker than other teams. He works really well with Sith Assassin, that's able to give him that extra turn meter gain. With the current team that I use, I don't feel that Rex is a huge threat against my squad. Yes, they will gain turn meter, but again, so will mine. I get asked on a regular basis, why do I put Kylo Ren in my team? Because he's not a Sith. Kylo Ren is going to still use his AoE attack, effectively reducing a lot of their health before they can get to my main characters like Darth Nihilus. General Kenobi is not only going to provide the taunt role, he also cleanses my team, provides foresight and retribution. Whenever any enemy character attacks my team and they have foresight on a Sith character, not only is that going to then dodge, but it's going to put them into stealth and give them 20% turn meter. Even though Rex is not much of an issue when I do face that team, but he is a great leadership to change out for Maul versus another Darth Maul leadership. When I use a Rex leadership versus a Darth Maul team, I have to be really tactical and thoughtful of who I'm attacking first. This may not last forever, as if Darth Maul does go first and they use a Sith Assassin to boost his turn meter, this would then apply daze to my team and stop them from getting any turn meter. This is then going to allow Darth Nihilus to use his Force Drain and increase my cooldowns by 1. I can see that more characters will be added or current characters will be buffed that are a direct counter to the more Zeta lead. But how Darth Nihilus has been created, he does not need a more Zeta lead to do his job. Darth Nihilus' viability will last a very long time in this game. With regards to the tank takedown and the pit, I am very unsure if he can do something different than what we currently have in game. His Annihilate will hit for 999,000 versus a raid boss. This is something I would have to revisit at a later date once I've seen more footage of Darth Nihilus within the raids. Overall, this character is game changing and I would suggest anyone to start gearing him straight away. The developers have done an outstanding job on making this character. There is a very little difference from a 3-star version to a 7-star version. This character should be farmable within 12 weeks, so that's 3 months. It is not very long, and especially he is very viable, does his job at a 3-star version. This character has no duo synergy, so he does not need to have the other half of Wigs, he does not need to have the other half of Chase. He works perfectly as standalone. He is definitely worthy of an A grade. So what did you think of this video today? Did you enjoy it? Did it give you a good experience? Let me know in the comments below. If you did like this video, then please make sure that you are using them force powers of yours to hit that like button. If you do not want to miss videos like this, then please make sure that you are subscribing to my channel. Thank you very much for watching today. I'm the Smithy D, and may the force be with you, always. Bye.